Hello and welcome back to Heartbaked Carver's Route. We are now on Chapter 9 out of 10, Episode 8 of the Carver Route, and we are ready and prepared to win Carver's heart. We're on the right track, guys. Now we just gotta get up there. So, let's just hop right in. My dreams are filled with fragments of moments from the past few days. The only thing clear was that stupid face, the one I used to cringe just thinking about. But now all it does is make my heart flutter. I couldn't believe that I'd actually fallen for Carver. And now he hates me. This was so backwards. I'd wanted to humiliate him, knock him down a few pegs, even though he was already so low on the totem pole he could barely reach my countertop. And for what? Some stupid cake? There were tons of things I could have made to honor the pastry god. Why did it have to be that cake? I had always been jealous of Carver. Ever since we started baking together, ever since he showed just how much better he was. And I never noticed that underneath the cartoony grins, ridiculous antics, the cross-dressing apparently, was a guy that I could totally see myself with. I can't believe I really like him. There was only one thing to do. Okay, B. You gotta go get your man. For real this time. I hopped out of bed, marching directly to the shower, intent on washing away all the failure and guilt and just everything. Then I'd find Carver and tell him, well, I'll work that out later. It would be all work out. I know, I could tell that he felt something for me too. I wouldn't even forgive me. Once I was ready, I hurried downstairs, wanting to catch Carver before he opened his bakery for the day. I kept going over and over things I could say to him in my head, but nothing sounded right. How did you say, hey, so I was totally and intentionally using you so that I could make cake and humiliate you because I'm a horrible mess of burnt cookies, but I actually kind of like you, so could we try going on a real date? Actually, that's not too bad. Hey, B. Ah! My progress was halted by Radley suddenly appearing in the doorway, and I scrambled to a halt, pressing a hand to my chest. Pastries, Radley, are you trying to give me a heart attack? Sorry. I'm just too excited. What? For what? Come to think of it, what are you doing here so early? I looked him over and noticed that he looked a bit more put together than usual. He gave me a knowing grin, tossing an arm around my shoulders. Oh, come on, pastry girl. Today's your day. You don't gotta downplay it. I came to help you get ready. Got any last-minute baking you need done? I let out a gasp, eyes widening. The festival! How could I have forgotten? This whole thing had been all about the festival for pastry's sake. I let out a groan and pressed my face into my hands. I spent all my time trying to steal Carver's heart for that stupid cake. If Carver had been the one selected for this year's festival, he would have spent all his time baking, coming up with new and delicious recipes. He definitely wouldn't have tainted the pastry god's celebration with something like jealousy. I could feel my eyes burning as these thoughts hit me. The realization that I'd have to go out and make a speech today, and I had nothing to talk about but how I crushed someone who didn't deserve it. What kind of a pastry chef was I? B, are you all right? You all right? My shoulders shook as the tears spilled past my cheeks, and I inhaled deeply, trying to calm down. B, what's wrong? Radley drew me into his arms, and I threw my own around him, clutching tightly to his shirt and pressing my face into his neck. I can't do this. What are you talking about? He rubbed my back in a soothing, repetitive motion, and I clung to my best friend, needing his strength. I don't have anything prepared. I don't deserve this. And now Carver hates me, and I think I might actually feel something for him. I knew Radley was going to think me crazy, but he stiffened at a word coming from his lips. I started to wonder if he'd even heard me, or if he could even understand through all my blubbering. I pulled away, wiping my face and looking up into his eyes. Ah, B, nobody could hate you. Radley gave me a smile that looks too forced, his hands moving to rest on my shoulders. He was quiet for another moment, and even though he was looking right at me, it felt like he wasn't really seeing me. If you really like him, you just gotta let him know before it's too late. Radley. He always acted like everything was so simple. But maybe it didn't have to be complicated. I nodded slowly, inhaling a bit shakily and sniffing. Ugh. But what am I going to do about the speech? Can't help you there. Radley released me, stepping back and slipping his hands into his pockets. Oh. Sorry, B. I think I left something at home. I'm gonna go grab it. I'll see you at the festival, alright? Radley headed out the door before I had time to respond. I let out a sigh, walking over to grab a tissue from my now running nose. Okay, I can do this. I'll go to the festival, give a speech about something, find Carver, and everything will be okay. It has to. I checked the clock, suddenly feeling restless. There was still some time before the festival was supposed to begin, and since I didn't want to show up looking totally unprepared, I decided to do some baking. Strawberry shortcake. I measured the ingredients, poured the batter, cleaned the tray, and put them in the oven on autopilot. My mind was far away from that kitchen. In another kitchen entirely.
B.
Huh? I blinked and looked down at the counter before me. Somehow I'd managed to make 3 shortcakes, neatly frosted, strawberries positioned perfectly. The mayor gave me a warm smile and I rubbed my arm, hoping I hadn't kept him waiting long. Sorry. I spaced out there for a second.
No worries, my dear girl. Are these for the festival?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure everyone will appreciate your hard work.
Yeah.
It's about time to start. I've been looking all over for you. I should have known you'd be in here baking until the last minute.
Yeah.
Come on, then.
The mayor gives me a sunny smile and carefully picks up 2 of the shortcakes to take out to everyone. I take the other one, biting my lip when I notice my hands trembling. All the time I still had no idea what to say in this stupid speech. As I walked outside, the sun shone brightly in my face. I squinted, lifting my hand to block out the light. A few elves approached me with cheery faces, taking the shortcake away to be placed with the other pastries, and I forced a smile of my own. A crowd was gathering in the town square around the stage, and the mayor led me there with a hand on my back. He was talking enthusiastically about something, but I couldn't bring myself to pay attention. My heart pounded, nerves rising up in my throat. All I could think about was how I shouldn't be the one doing this. When I blinked again, I was standing on the stage, the podium beneath my shaking hands. Everyone stared up at me with expectant faces. I looked at them all, swallowing thickly. My eyes snapped over upon seeing a spot of magenta in my peripheral vision, and I froze upon seeing Carver standing just a little ways from the front of the stage. Of course he was there. He was also a pastry chef, but as much as I wanted to think of his proximity meant he had forgiven me, he wasn't looking at me. He wasn't even looking at the stage. His gaze was fixed firmly on the ground, arms crossed over his chest. If it weren't for his responsibilities, he definitely wouldn't be here. I could feel my eyes starting to burn again, and I heard the mayor clear his throat.
Well, B, let's hear what you have to say.
What I had to say? Hello, everyone. There was a general response of hellos from the crowd, everyone giving me looks of encouragement. They probably thought I was nervous. I want to thank you all for this opportunity. We're here today to honor the pastry god and consume delicious sweets in his name. I closed my eyes, breathing in deeply. Oh, pastry god, I shouldn't be up here. As elves, we're always trying to do what's right to properly show our respect and love for our lord and baker. But sometimes we can be blind to what the right thing really is. Or we make excuses saying that we're doing something for good when really it's only because of selfishness. I can see the smiles in the crowd start to grow a little confused. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Sometimes we don't know what we really want until it's right in front of us, until it's snatched away, and all we want to do is apologize.
Carver's head suddenly lifted, and our eyes met. I was caught off guard, and my throat closed up, fingers curling into my palms. I couldn't do it. I had to say something. I pressed my hands hard against the podium, squeezing my eyes shut. I know you like me. I don't deserve this. Confess. Oh! What should I do? I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to be on this stage. I'm gonna do that one.
I don't deserve this.
A confused murmur rippled through the crowd, but I couldn't stop.
Carver's the one who should be up here. He's the better pastry chef.
The mayor was gesturing at me frantically, trying to get me to shut up. I would not be silenced. Carver is magnificent and not obnoxious at all, and anyone who says otherwise besides me is going to end up on my next list of ingredients.
B, I think that's...
I'm sorry. I don't regret it, though, because if I hadn't done it, I never would have. I never would have fallen for you. And I'm glad I did. You hear me?
Who is Carver? The dwarf.
Suddenly, Carver turned and bolted. I was getting flashbacks. My brow furrowed in determination. I jumped off the stage, chasing after him. Everything was already ruined, and this was more important than whatever the mayor had to say to me.
B, what are you?
Not now. I pushed through the crowd, barely managing to catch up to the long-haired elf as he darted by the fountain. I grabbed his arm, pulling. Carver, stop. He tried to avoid me by jumping on the bench, but I was up there in 2 seconds. Carver! I lunged at him, and didn't take long for the two of us to lose our balance. Oh, we fell into the pond. I stared down in wide-eyed surprise after I got my bearings, realizing we'd fallen into the fountain. Carver was underneath me, his face redder than his hair, and determinedly looking in any direction but my own. Carver, I like you. Stop being angry and kiss me already. Wow. See. Romance. I grabbed his face, tucking him closer and slamming our mouths together. He let out a startled nose, but he didn't noise. Nose? Yes. He let out a startled noise, but he didn't pull away. I was so lost in my determination, I hadn't really realized what I was doing until it was too late. Sitting in the fountain in the middle of town square, half soaked, I was kissing Carver. I was actually kissing Carver. And then he was kissing me back. My stomach fluttered, the tension slowly starting to leave my body. His warm hands resting on my arms, thumbs caressing the skin there, and a shiver ran through me. I pulled back after a moment, staring down at him and biting my lip. My mouth was tingling. I climbed out of the fountain slowly, and he did too, both of us pointedly ignoring the slack-jawed stares in our direction. So, my lips twitched a little. Would you go out with me? He scoffed. I guess if you're so desperate. Before he could finish, I pushed him back into the fountain. Yeah! Okay, sorry. A little bit too happy there. But I don't know, I'm just so gleeful. Yes! I win. It was cute. I don't know, my heart, no matter like if I'm like super into the guys or not, I always get super invested in the stories. I don't know why. I'm just like, I ship it. I ship all the hearts, all the romances. Carver was adorable, and I was the one who kissed him. Alright, so that'll be it for this episode. You guys know the drill. Have a great weekend, have a good week, and good night.